looking to increase profitability, looking to drive more income for you personally or for your company or business. This is a very game-changing methodology that has gone viral all over the world, and I'm hosting this live from Laguna Beach, California. If we've never had a chance to meet, my name is Sherry Tree. That's my real name. I have a 20-year track record with this methodology from inception to incredible results, and I'm going to share that with you today. This methodology has gone into more than 40 different countries, and I know that's growing on a regular basis. We have 150 certified licensed trainers that are able to teach this methodology in various markets around the world, which is pretty awesome. You may have met one of them. And it is the #1 personality-based sales training in the world. Now, what B.A.N.K, the methodology is called B.A.N.K, B-A.N.K, which is our interpretation of the 4 personality types, but applied to a sales concept with something we call biology, spelled B-U-Y, ology, the science of buying behavior. And what I'm going to demonstrate to you today is exactly how, when applying this technique in the sales process, you can have incredible results. It's designed to increase your sales up to 300%. And the irony is that my first year using it, I experienced a lot bigger increase than that. So let me start off by sharing a few important numbers that I think are relevant. And these are according to Salesforce.com. If you're in any type of sales capacity as a business owner, an entrepreneur, or a sales professional, what they proved is that 67%, or in other words, 2 out of 3 miss quota. They miss their targets. They miss their goals. Okay. 87% do not feel prepared for an appointment, which means the chance of closing the sale dramatically decreases. And even worse, 66% of customers claim that the salesperson delivering that message turned them off as opposed to on. During this webinar, I'm going to teach you how to cure each one of these so that you hit your targets, you're always prepared, and you never turn off your clients. You turn them on, and you're able to close the sale, get that yes, and take it to the bank. Now, according to WAMA, the Word of Mouth Marketing Association, they said the best salesperson outsells the average salesperson 57-1. I'm not sure which side of the equation you're on, but imagine the life that you could be living if you out-earned all of your peers 57 times their income. And that's what becomes possible when you become the best. This methodology is not for the bottom of the barrel. This is for the top and those who aspire to achieve the top. It's for top producers. Okay, so I'm going to reveal to you the secrets behind what top producers know. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, said the ability to sell is the #1 skill in business. Not the number 2 or 3, it's the #1 skill in business. And yet, what I've discovered, and this is a major kind of blockbuster myth here, is that I found out that almost every salesperson that I've met, every entrepreneur, every business owner has been brainwashed into believing one of the greatest lies ever told. And what they've been told is that sales is a numbers game. What we've been brainwashed into believing is that in order to get more yeses, we have to get more, and you can fill in the blank in the chat box, more no's. And unfortunately, that puts most people into a spend cycle of chasing their tail over and over, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, trying to figure out how to get more yeses. When in fact, the reality is, in order to get more yeses, you actually have to get more yeses. So the question becomes, well, how do you consistently get more yeses? And what if there was a proven way that you could get more yeses every single time? Would it be worth investing your time, your effort, your money, and your energy to figure out how to significantly increase your revenues and get back your time? So this is the secret. And what I want to reveal to you when you're paying attention today is that the secret is that sales is not a numbers game. It's a people game. So if you want to master your ability to close more sales and drive more revenue, you need to master your ability to understand people. And Brian Tracy said, all business is a people business. That's a clue. Okay. Now, I want to ask you on today's webinar, is it possible for one idea to change the world? And I know that you and I would both agree, yes, it's possible. And there's been many ideas that have changed the world. The one idea that I want to suggest to you today that has the power to transform your business world and your personal world from this point forward is a 4-letter word called B.A.N.K. Now, B.A.N.K is personality-based, meaning that it's rooted in the principles of the 4 personality types that dates back thousands of years, but with a very important modern-day twist, which I'm going to reveal to you today. B.A.N.K is people-focused because that's the secret to closing more sales, and B.A.N.K is profit-driven because we want you to make more money than you ever thought possible. And B.A.N.K, in addition to this, is purpose-driven, meaning that we're actually on a mission to change the world. And that's why I'm doing this webinar today. Now, beyond that, B.A.N.K, as proved by San Francisco State University in our most recent published white paper, B.A.N.K is the only methodology in the world scientifically validated to predict buying behavior in less than 90 seconds. And I want that to sink in for just a minute before I continue. What if you had a crystal ball, a Holy Grail, that could reveal to you the buying behavior of your customer in less than 90 seconds? What if a crystal ball could drop right into your desktop, your laptop, your hands, your mobile device, and tell you exactly what to say to each and every customer to get a yes versus a no? This would be epic. This is a game changer, and this is exactly what B.A.N.K does. If you do not have a copy of my book, Why They Buy, you can pick up a copy of that on whytheybuy.com. Okay, separate side note. Highly recommend you read the book, but let's continue. So just how much has B.A.N.K impacted the game? I'm going to show you my before and after. These are real numbers for me personally as the author and creator of the system. As I got started in sales, I was not an overnight success. Some of you may be, some of you might not be, most are not. My first year income in a full commission model was $700 US. Moral of the story, I sucked. I was terrible at selling. And for 5 years, I decided to study every sales training program I could get my hands on. I read a lot of books. I attended seminars. I hired coaches and mentors. I listened to audio programs. I did everything humanly possible to get my game better at the sales process. And it paid off. My income went from $700 to $72,000 over 5 years. Now, some would say that's success, and yet I still felt like a failure financially. I was $30,000 in credit card debt. I'm driving a car that had been wrecked and restored, and I'm renting an apartment, couldn't even qualify for my own home. And something about this just felt totally broken. I wasn't sure whether or not it was me that was broken. If you've ever had that questioning in business as an entrepreneur, like maybe you should go back and get your job, or perhaps was it the system that was broken? Luckily, what I discovered, it was the system. That's good news for both you and me. And when I discovered that the system was broken, I was able to identify the missing link. Now, this missing link was so powerful and impactful, it changed everything for me, which is why I call it a game changer, because what I found out that was missing was an application with a concept called B.A.N.K. Now, as an experiment, I began to use the B.A.N.K process in my sales practice for the next 12 months, and I experienced skyrocketing results. My income jumped to over $500,000 in a single year. So a 695% jump in 1 year. Imagine if that jump could happen to you this year. You know, how many of you would want to participate in that? Everyone, right? And over a 3-year period, my income now went over $1 million a year. Now, I can share with you personally, if you've never experienced $1 million annual income, you got to try it at least once in your life. It's worth doing. And I'm going to show you the secret on how to do that in my program called B.A.N.K. Now, as a result of this happening for me, by 33 years old, I was cash flowing more than $1 million a year, and my whole life changed. Of course, everyone wanted to know my secret. So they started flying me around the world on private jets. Here I'm published on a spread in Success magazine. I'm not the one in the red dress, by the way. I'm the one in the middle in the black suit, cherry tree. You can kind of see it's a little blurry, but it showed my income there at 2.9 million. And the point is, my methodology worked, and I started getting asked to speak and share this all over the world, and I became very passionate about teaching this to other people. Now, here's the catch. I cannot teach this to everyone. There's 2 types of people specifically I cannot teach this to and will not teach it to. It's those that choose to stay ignorant, meaning you want to keep your head in the sand and not pay attention to any new possibilities. This is not for you. The second type of person I cannot and will not teach are those that choose to be arrogant, those that say they already know it all. And if that's the case, then probably this methodology would have had your name on it. Now, anyone else in between, those that are really hungry and passionate for success, those that are willing to work hard, that put their mindset and focus on something and creating an amazing possibility for you and your family, that is exactly who I'm dedicated to teaching this to. And as a result of sharing this around the world, I got invited to speak at conferences and keynote with millionaires like Robert Kiyosaki, even billionaires like Sir Richard Branson. I recently just got back from speaking on stage with Steve Wozniak at the Nordic Business Forum over in Sweden, and Tony Robbins and Susie Orman and Les Brown, and amazing people, because this methodology was such a game changer. In 2013, it got validated academically when I got invited to teach this at Harvard University. And I asked them, why did you invite me, someone who did not go to Harvard or graduate from an Ivy League school, and yet I'm teaching there? And they said, Sherry, what you invented, quite frankly, is genius. And no one in the history of the world has ever put this twist on personality science. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. The University of California at Berkeley in 2014 invited me to come speak and teach this to their MBA alumni network. And in 2016, San Francisco State University had conducted a series of studies they wanted to prove and see if they could validate the B.A.N.K methodology in 4 different studies. And what they were able to publish was our company's very first white paper. If you do not have a copy, I strongly suggest you get back to the person that invited you to this webinar and get yourself a copy. But they were able to absolutely validate that B.A.N.K is not only scientifically based and validated, it's an original. There's no other system like it in the marketplace today, bar none, period. And it works consistently time after time after time, which means it's now bankable. And the most important thing is whether or not it worked. And in fact, it does. Any person who uses the B.A.N.K process applied in the sales process should absolutely expect to see an increase in sales results. Therefore, more money to you or money in the bank. So Einstein said, any fool can complicate things. And trust me, there's a lot of complicated concepts out there, but it takes a genius to simplify it. Why B.A.N.K is so powerful and why it's gone viral is because we have simplified the sales process, making it easier than ever before to get a yes versus a no in far less time, giving you back your life and more money with it. How does it work? There's a science to it, okay? Selling is not an art unless you know the science. So the type of science that we apply in this process of B.A.N.K is personality science. You may have heard of this concept, the fact that people are different. I did not invent this theory. It actually dates back thousands of years to Hippocrates, the father of medicine, who basically revealed that people are different and that he could classify the entire human race into 4 different types. And he called that the theory of the 4 temperaments. Now, he used it to apply it in a medical perspective. He's known as the father of medicine. But when you fast forward to today's world, there's been dozens and dozens of personality typing assessments and tools and training systems that have been developed around this concept that people are different. Matter of fact, millions of people around the world, you're probably one of them, who has taken a personality type assessment, right? And if we were doing this in a live format, you could raise your hand and say, yes, I have too. And I remember the first time I took one of these personality type assessments, I was fascinated. It's always amazing to learn more about yourself. This is cool. But my fascination turned into frustration when I realized that not one single one of these programs ever made me more money. Not one of them ever helped me close more sales. Not one of them ever helped me get a yes versus a no. And I remember throwing my hands up in the air saying, what's the point of taking all of these assessments? Like, I don't care what color I am, what animal I am, what astrology sign I am. Like, I just want to get rich. I want to create wealth for me and my family, and I'm tired of living in the rat race. So I was looking for a better way. And it was here that I had this idea. And my idea was, wait a minute. If there's truly 4 different types of personalities, where's the system and the assessment that can tell me not who I am, but who my customer is, and better yet, why they buy? What triggers the yes versus the no in the sales process? And if what makes one person say yes doesn't make the other person say no? And that's when I discovered the missing link, something I call biology, the science of buying behavior. What I discovered was absolutely fascinating. The fact that people are different and they make buying decisions differently. And it has been proven now that what makes one person say yes is likely to make another personality type say no. In other words, not all customers are created equal. And yet, unfortunately, in the sales process, we've been given very outdated advice. And this is where I want to show you where the biggest mistakes are coming from. Now, what we do is we teach our clients around the world how to crack the personality code and take it to the bank. Now, I'm cracking the code. I'm specifically in this concept talking about there's a literal code to crack. And if you look at this device on my screen, this is called a Cryptex. A Cryptex is a combination of two words, cryptology, which is the science of locking up secret information, and codex, which is the written script or scroll that's locked inside the device. It was made famous in the movie The Da Vinci Code. So if you watch that movie, what was locked inside this device behind a secret password or code was a little tiny rolled up piece of paper. And on that piece of paper was written the secret to the Holy Grail. Now, the whole plot of the movie is what was the secret to the Holy Grail? And there was only one way to find out. You had to crack the code. The challenge is this little device was booby-trapped. Think of it like a ticking time bomb, because the scroll of paper was wrapped around a tiny, fragile little vial of vinegar. And if you failed to crack the code correctly, what you'd crack open instead is that vial of vinegar, which would dissolve the ink off the scroll, leaving you with nothing. Now, the analogy that I use with this exact concept in the sales process is I want you to imagine from this point forward that every single one of your customers, every lead you generate, every client you try to engage has an invisible Cryptex. And I want you to imagine if what was locked inside that device was a tiny little piece of paper. And imagine if what was written on that piece of paper was exactly what to say to your customer to get a yes versus a no. How many of you, if I'm polling you and if you're participating live in the chat box, how many of you would want to be able to crack that code and gain access to the Holy Grail, knowing exactly what to say to close your sale? Okay, you can type yes in the chat box. That was profound. And this was a major aha that tipped me forward in developing the bank process. Now, Tony Robbins gave me a secret, and he teaches success leaves clues, and here's one of them. He said, let your prospect determine your presentation. And I said, wait a minute, if there's 4 different types of people, technically I should have 4 sales presentations. But how many do most of us have? 1. And thus the greatest mistake that's happening out there in the business world is that most people, unfortunately, based on the theory of the 4 personality types, whichever one is your dominant personality type, if you happen to deliver your presentation to your matching personality type, you're likely going to get a yes, because you said the exact things that has that person resonate with your message and say, I'm in. I want to buy from you. I want to join your team. I want to follow you. I want to become a member. Whatever it is that you said, that was the Holy Grail in that moment. So you've probably made some sales presentations in your past that just felt easy. That's because you sold to your match. But what about the other 3 personality types? I realized I was not that in my dominant position, which means chances are I was delivering the wrong message to the other 3. Which means I was delivering the wrong message to potentially 3 out of the 4 different personality type groups, leaving up to 75% of the revenue potential on the table simply by delivering the wrong message. So that, I realized, was costing me a fortune, and it's likely costing you more than you could possibly imagine. And I'm going to give you a number. What I want you to do is I want you to calculate your last year's income. You know, we're in the new year now. You should be able to add up roughly what did you earn last year, approximate. Whatever that number is, let's say it's $100,000. I want you to multiply it times 3. Multiply your income last year times 3. So in the case of 100,000, your new number would be 300,000. Whatever your triple number is in this moment, that is the amount of money you lost last year not knowing the science in the sales process. That's huge. If you're the person who made $100,000 and you lost $300,000 of potential revenue that you left on the table by simply not knowing the science in the sales process, that is a fortune to you and your family. And that's the difference between you having a chance to make it to the wealthy 1% club or never, ever getting there. So I became passionate around how do I deliver the right presentation every single time? And that's why I developed B.A.N.K. Now, B.A.N.K's designed to help you get 300% more effective by connecting with all 4 of the personality type groups, as opposed to just your matching group. If you're able to communicate to all 4 different types effectively in a way that makes them want to say yes to you, then you're going to get 300% better than likely you are right now. And this is a perfect example, is to think of each personality type as a different language. If you speak the wrong language to your customer, they're not going to understand you. They're not going to buy from you. If you can learn to adapt and speak the correct language to them based on the language they want to be communicated in, then you're going to have success. For example, in this case, let's pretend that the blueprint, the B one right there, the blue, represents your native language, English. Well, you meet someone who speaks English, you're going to hit it off, no problem. What about when you meet the red block, that A? Let's say they speak French, not English. You're going to have a communication challenge. But if you've been trained in B.A.N.K and you can speak in code, and like the equivalent of a different language, it's the equivalent of being able to switch gears in your mind, and instead of the words coming out of your mouth in English, they simply switch to French. You say, bonjour, je m'appelle Chérie, j'avais été en France pour 3 ans quand j'étais petite, enchantée. Now, if you spoke French, you'd know exactly what I said, and we'd have a match, which means I became 100% more effective in this case. I speak 2 languages instead of 1. I have a 100% increase. So you can see how powerful this is if you can speak the language of the customer. And what B.A.N.K has proven is that your customers speak 4 different languages. You likely only speak 1. So if you want to increase your ability to convert up to 300% more market share, you must learn to speak 4 languages. And this is why we consider B.A.N.K the language of people. Because the entire human race, no matter what country, what culture you come from, only speaks 4 languages. Okay? So this was the concept of it. And this is when I developed a system. Now the system is what's going to make you rich. Following the system to a T is going to put you on the fast track to great success. If you've never heard that system is an acronym, I want to break it down for you. System stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. You see, without the B.A.N.K system, you can go back to the way things were. You can keep throwing spaghetti noodles against the wall. You can keep playing the numbers game. You can keep chasing your tail and generating leads and dialing for dollars and going to Chamber of Commerce events or B&I meetings or doing all of the things that you're currently doing to try and win more business. But for me, that was a very frustrating process. I wanted to get this so dialed in that it became consistent and it became reliable and bankable every single time. And thus, I needed a proven system. So I want to introduce you to my proven system. I'm going to introduce you to the B.A.N.K acronym. I'm going to give you a quick overview of each of the 4 personality types. This is not the course. This is the introduction. This is basically the preview of what this system is and how it works for you. And if it makes sense, then my invitation to you at the end of the webinar is going to be to study it, to adopt it, to apply it, to implement it, and to make B.A.N.K as a benefit from it, okay? So let me introduce you to the 4 personality types of B.A.N.K, B-A.N.K, starting with the B, which stands for blueprint. Now, there's 4 different types of customers. Your blueprint type of customer is conservative inside the box. I use the color blue. Think of them as a very cold style approach. They're not super warm and friendly. What I discovered is that each one of the 4 types has a different set of values. Those values are driving the core of their buying behavior. What triggers the yes versus a no is coming from this invisible set of values. And I've been able to identify those values. So a blueprint's going to value things. You can see them on your screen here, like stability, structure, systems, planning, processes, predictability, responsibility, duty, rules, credentials, titles, and tradition. Very conservative inside the box. So you can imagine if you approach this person outside the box in any way, what you wear, your pricing model, your company brand, your reputation, anything outside the box, what happens to the vial of vinegar? You break the sale, right? You don't crack the code. So selling to this person has a very specific set of criteria, which is what our training goes into. Now, I wanted to see if I could turn it into a game and see if I could recognize these people before I screwed up and put my foot in my mouth. And I started recognizing trends and patterns, what they wore, what time they would arrive, how would they greet each other. For example, a blueprint is going to be a very conservative greeting following the cultural protocol of where they come from. In America, it's a good old-fashioned handshake with a nice to meet you. Okay, so that's an example of a blueprint. Now, the cool thing is B.A.N.K works no matter what your code is. You could be a blueprint and have success. You could be an action. And I'm going to show you a story as a case study of each one of those types. The case study for the blueprint is Shelly Pereira. She's very blueprint. She's very conservative. She's very inside of her box in her own corporate way. And Shelly came across the B.A.N.K system and quite frankly was blown away. It expanded her mind. It expanded the size of her box. And she decided to adapt this new methodology into her current sales practice. The best part about it is she was able to experience an increase of $18,000 in revenue with her consulting business in a single 30-day period by simply applying the B.A.N.K techniques to her already existing business. So you can simply take the skill set of B.A.N.K and overlay it into what you're already doing and make a lot more money. In Shelly's case, $18,000 in 30 days, okay? Now, the second personality type in B.A.N.K is action. These are your movers and shakers and millionaire makers. I use the color red because they're on fire. They act like they just drank Red Bull. They talk fast, probably like me, trying to get through this information. What's the bottom line, okay? So the action personality type is a completely different breed from the blueprint. Just how different? We'll take a look at their values. They value things like freedom, flexibility, spontaneity, action, opportunity, excitement, attention, stimulation, competition, having fun, and they care all about their image. From head to toe, it's all for show. The action personality type, can you imagine approaching them like a blueprint? Disaster is going to strike, right? You're going to crack the vial of vinegar, you're going to lose the sale. So this personality type requires a completely different presentation, a presentation style, a different location, different price points, different everything. And if you don't know that, you're a victim of the numbers game, right? Throwing spaghetti noodles against the wall where your company or your leader or your mentor told you to deliver the same presentation to each person and just keep going for no in order to get a yes. Wrong. Terrible advice. You have to completely switch it up. How would you recognize an action when they're right in front of you? Well, if a blueprint does the handshake, the action's probably going to be doing the high five, right? Take it to the bank. So this person is totally different from the blueprint, and it requires a completely different approach. Let me introduce you to Stephanie Bonte-Lebert, a case study for the action. Stephanie is one of those people that loves the spotlight. She's a singer. She's got an incredible voice, and she spent time in New York City on Broadway. Suddenly, Stephanie wants to become an entrepreneur, like a lot of action personality types. They want to go build their own business. But Stephanie had no idea how to build her business. She wanted to sell voice coaching and singing lessons. The funny thing is, she had no sales background. So when she came across my program and she heard me speak at a conference, she immediately realized that the B.A.N.K system could help her build a successful business in her voice industry. And so she studied the B.A.N.K system. Now she studied it and studied it and studied it. Okay, the best students are the ones who don't just check a box and say, I read the book, I got it. No, no, no. Remember, Malcolm Gladwell says 10,000 hours to mastery. Stephanie took this seriously. She applied B.A.N.K, and here's the best part. Not only did she increase her revenue, but she went 30 days in a row without a no. Imagine what could happen for you this year if you could have a 30-day stretch with 100% conversions of yes, right? It's explosive. Stephanie pulled in a single month, going 30 days in a row without a no, $50,000 in revenue. She's on fire, and that's why she's a case study for B.A.N.K. Now, let's go to the third personality type. The N stands for nurturing. This is a much more calm, warm, gentle personality. I use the color yellow. Think of sunshine, warm and fuzzy, happy faces. and they've got a heart of gold. Okay. This nurturing personality type is neither inside the box like the blueprint or outside the box like the action. They're the ones that recycle the box, right? They care more about making a difference than they do about making a dollar. Well, why is that? Because their values are different. The nurturing type of personality values things like relationships, authenticity, personal growth, teamwork, significance, involvement, community, charity, ethics, harmony, morality, and contribution. Again, if they engage with you in business and you treat them like a number or a price tag, that's going to be the end of the deal. And unfortunately, most people do not know how to really leverage and harness the power of doing business with the nurturing types. Let me give you a little clue. Nurturing personality types don't necessarily do business in financial currency. What they have instead is even more powerful. They have relationship currency, and who they're connected to is worth its weight in gold. The problem is they're not going to give you access to who they know unless you know how to create the relationship based on their core values. When it comes to greeting them, obviously, the handshake and the high five is not good enough. The nurturing is going to want that really special warm connection. So it's going to be like a really great hug, two-handed handshake, etc. Something that feels an authentic, genuine connection. And a little hint here, it's not the type of hug that ends with like a thump on the back, right? It's not that type, okay? So the nurturing type is a much different breed than the other previous two types, okay? Here's a case study of Robin Edgar. Robin Edgar is nurturing first as a financial advisor. And the interesting thing is she's built a successful career over the past 20 years by building and developing relationships, which is what the nurturing types do. Just because someone's nurturing doesn't mean they're broke. Okay, there's a big misunderstanding. Nurturing is very powerful code because they have extensive relationships. Now, Robin didn't buy and invest in the bank system to learn how to make more money. She was already doing great. She wanted to develop even better, stronger relationships with her existing clients. And in the financial business, what happens when the heirs of the portfolio pass away, they transition the wealth to the next generation. And Robin wanted to be able to learn a communication protocol that would allow her to communicate effectively with the heirs of those portfolios so that she could continue to manage that business. So she invested in B.A.N.K to learn how to do that. The fascinating thing is she had her best single month over her 20-year career using B.A.N.K. And this was with no new client acquisition into her portfolio. She was able to make $70,000 US in a single month with her existing clients by simply being more effective at communicating and investing even more money with her existing book of business. So this doesn't mean that you have to go out and get new clients to make more money. You can actually expand the size of your portfolio and your effectiveness by just simply speaking more effectively with your existing clients already. Okay, so that's a great success story. Now let's move to the fourth and final personality type of B.A.N.K, the K, which stands for knowledge. I use the color green. Think of super analytical people who want numbers, information, and data. Microsoft Excel spreadsheet uses the color green. Or in the movie The Matrix, the computer code that falls across the screen, green, okay? So this is the type of person that engineered the box. The blueprint inside the box. The action was outside the box. The nurturing recycled the box, and the knowledge engineered the box, okay? Now, the values of the knowledge personality type are completely different. Think of north, south, east, and west. They're so different from each other. A knowledge personality type values learning, intelligence, logic, self-mastery, technology, research and development, science, universal truths, expertise, competency, accuracy, and the big picture. If you were to compare all of these different values separately from each other, you would realize just how absolutely different each one of them is from another. And therefore, it becomes foolish to sell to them the same way every single time. And you can see the writing on the wall. If you don't alter the way you approach each one, you have failure, which is imminent in front of you. okay? And that's what creates the numbers game and the spend cycle, which unfortunately keeps most people trapped in the poor, the broke, and the middle class. Now, the knowledge personality type, again, requires a completely different approach. And what I usually ask in a webinar format, you know, I don't get to physically see you, but you get to see me here on the video feed. If I were to ask the question, which of the 4 personality types do you think takes the longest to make a buying decision? Go ahead and type that in the chat box. The B, the A, the N, or the K. Type that in the chat box. Who takes the longest to make a buying decision typically, right? And you're typing in the K, right? The knowledge is the obvious one because they get sucked into analysis paralysis. Usually it takes what I call forever for them to make a buying decision, unless you know the code. What's been awesome about our system is we've been able to identify the exact formulas that are able to get to the yes in the shortest period of time, shortening the length of the sales cycle, making it easier and faster than ever before to close the sale in less time. Matter of fact, in many cases, using and applying the B.A.N.K methodology, you will be able to create something called the one call close, which is closing a deal, an appointment, a sale on a single appointment. That's a game changer, right? So the knowledge personality type, very different. Speaking of how different, you know, when it came to the greeting, I thought, well, how do you greet this person? Do they even want to touch you at all? The blueprint was the handshake, the action was the high five, the nurturing was a big, warm, fuzzy hug, and the knowledge was probably like, don't touch me at all. So here's how I figured out how to greet them with my Star Trek Vulcan salute. Okay, and of course, this is a little bit of a joke, but kind of not really. They actually prefer not to touch. What they would prefer instead is just simply handing them a business card. Just give them the data, right? So these are examples of the 4 different personality styles. And our case study of the knowledge personality type, here's one of our clients, Brett Yeager. Brett Yeager, he lives in New York City. He's been in high-end, sophisticated software sales for a very long time over his career. And here's what's interesting, is he saw me speak after having lost a major $1 million contract, a $1.5 million contract. He was in the process of attempting to close, and the client had said, no, thank you. We don't want to do business with your company. Now, unfortunately, when Brett heard me deliver this same exact presentation, he realized, wait a minute, I think I spoke the wrong code to them, and I gave them the wrong proposal. He came and asked me, Sherry, do you think B.A.N.K would allow me to redeem myself in this opportunity? Could I get a second chance? And I said, well, it's only possible when you speak the correct code. So he studied the B.A.N.K system. He invested in all of our training, figured out what their code was, where he made the mistake in the proposal process, went back to the client with a second attempt, and it worked. The client said, you know what? Thank you for coming back to us after you've pointed out these new things. We actually want to engage with you and your company, and we want to take it from a $1.5 million contract to a $2.5 million contract. And by the way, we'd like to close the contract in the next 90 days. Now, Brett was blown away, ecstatic. I mean, the Ks are naturally skeptical. He could not believe how B.A.N.K simply could switch a customer, increase the deal value by $1 million, and put an extra $56,000 of commission in his pocket that he had already walked away from prior to B.A.N.K. So does B.A.N.K work for everyone? Only if they use it, okay? This is where it comes down to your personal choice. The fact is, it works every single time consistently because it's based in science. Now, if I were to survey you right now and I'd say, are you a blueprint? Are you an action? Are you a nurturing? Are you a knowledge? And you could pick one of the 4, you would do that. But what I discovered is that my clients were actually not just one of the 4, that they were a hybrid, a combination of all 4. In other words, every buyer that you have out there is part blueprint, part action, part nurturing, and part knowledge. You see, we're perfect in that way that we have all 4 parts inside of us, like a perfect formula. The challenge is, what is the sequence of that B.A.N.K code? Now think of a bank code like a PIN code. If you were to pull out your debit card and go slide it into your local ATM machine, that ATM would require you to enter a 4-digit PIN code if you want money to come out. Your customer is the exact same way, except instead of a PIN code, they have a bank code. And you have to deliver your presentation, your marketing, and your sales communication process in their exact sequence if you want money to come out, if you want a relationship formed, if you want a deal closed. So it became imminent and critically important, imperative to crack their code. Now, how many codes are there? There's 24. So when I realized that my client could be one of 24, that meant that I had a 1 in 24 chance of delivering the right presentation to my customer. What are the odds? Like, that's about a 4% chance. That means that's a 96% chance of getting a no versus a yes. I didn't like those odds. So I wanted to find out, how could I basically crack their code? Because the question becomes, how many chances is your customer going to give you? Type that in the chat box right now. How many chances is your customer going to give you to crack their code, to deliver the right presentation? Yeah, 1, right? 1. You get 1 shot. Maybe 2 if they're high nurturing, right? And they're like, oh, that was the worst presentation I've ever seen. Do it again. Maybe your grandma might say that. But the average customer is going to give you 1 shot, right? So that means you have to beat the odds right now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know who you are. Maybe we've never met before. But let me just ask you, if you had a system that could allow you, if you had a tool, if you had training, if you had technology that would allow you to crack someone's code in less than 90 seconds, to get it right every single time, reducing the margin of error, and if you had a formula that could teach you exactly what to say to that code and get it correct 100% of the time, how many of you would want to learn it? Type yes. Type it in all capital letters if you mean it, okay? Yes, yes, yes. What if you could crack their code in less than 90 seconds? And what if you could get it right every single time and deliver the right presentation 100% of the time? This was the Holy Grail. Now, anytime you meet an inventor, someone who invents a new concept, a new idea, a product, a service, a methodology, they have a moment of genius. And this was mine. I wanted to find a way that I could crack my customer's code in less than 90 seconds. And I wanted to figure out, come hell or high water, what do I say to them in full authenticity and transparency with zero form of sales tactics or manipulation? How could I get the yes and serve my clients? How could I make their life better off by engaging in business with me? And how do I create the ultimate win-win, where the customer gets my products and services and it changes their life and I win the business and I get paid? That was my Holy Grail. And there's only ever been one way that I could consistently do it every single time. And that was using this system and this technique. Now, I got creative. I invented this in my mid-20s. And the idea that I came up with was the only way that I could successfully crack their code and get it right every single time. I had to reduce the margin of error. I couldn't guess. Most salespeople will tell me, oh, you have to ask questions and you have to mirror and match and you have to try to figure it out. And guys, too complicated, too much risk, too much margin of error. What if I could just simply ask my client for their bank code? That was the best idea. So I came up with the way to do that, okay? And the way to do that was by simply coming up with a set of 4 cards. Now, these 4 cards, I didn't even know if it would work. I call these the bank value cards, or just bank cards for short, okay? And what I would do is I would hand them over to my customer, and I would use a short little script, and I'd invite them to sort these 4 cards and just simply put them in order, top to bottom, what was most like them to least like them, most important to least important. And I told them that this would help me serve them better and save us both some time. The fascinating thing is, over the past 20 years, 100% of every client I've ever asked is willing to crack their code. Fascinating, right? Suddenly I had a winning formula. Now, the next catch to this was, what if your customer is not in front of you? What if you don't have these little plastic cards, but you still want to crack their code? And this is when the next idea came, and we said, what if we could leverage technology? What if I could actually develop a proprietary technology, the only one in the world that could predict buying behavior and crack someone's code online in less than 90 seconds? So we invented it. It's called B.A.N.K. B.A.N.K is the Holy Grail to any business owner, to any entrepreneur, to any sales professional. Because what this does is it allows this process, instead of it being face-to-face, we can now do this digitally online. Let me show you how it works. B.A.N.K is a subscription model. Our clients subscribe to B.A.N.K and they pay monthly every single month to use this service. But watch how it works and why you would do it. Okay, what happens is you can now crack your customer's code online. Imagine prior to your appointment, if I was getting ready to meet with you and I said, Javine, she's my friend, hey, listen, before we meet, in an effort to save us both time and for me to be more prepared, I want you to do me a favor, click this link and take a quick little 90-second assessment. This is going to help me serve you better and save us both some time. Now, in almost every case, your customer is willing to do it, right? Now, they go to the website, mybankcode.com/your access code. You get an access code, and you can actually create your own access code. It could be your name or any type of word that you want, as long as it's available, because we have subscribers using this all over the world. Your access code is unique to you. They need to enter the access code in order to crack their code online. All right, that's the gift. Now, what's cool is they're going to be invited to drag and drop these exact 4 cards, except a digital image of it, into their sequence, which basically cracks their code. Remember, there's 24 different combinations. This takes less than 90 seconds. They're going to fill out their information complimentary because you gave them an access code. It waives the $97 fee that it would normally cost to crack their code online, and on your behalf, our system's going to send them a gift. So imagine every single one of your potential clients, customers, or prospects and leads who cracks their code with your access code. Our system's going to send them their own custom B.A.N.K code report. What's fascinating about this report is we're going to reveal the top secrets that make them tick based on their assortment of their B.A.N.K code. Now, I got to be honest, and I have very close friends that date all the way back to high school, like 20-something years ago, that were blown away. They said, Sherry, there's no way you could know this much about me in 90 seconds. And I say, aha, yes, there is, because it's science. You see, because this is based in science, we're able to predict that much about you in less than 90 seconds. Maybe a little scary, I get it, but the human race, again, is only 4 types. So if you can understand what makes those 4 types, you got this system, and it's awesome. So we're going to send them a report, and they love it. It's a very cool gift, and all it costs you is your subscription fees every single month. But this is not why we built the system. We built B.A.N.K not to go sending out personality type assessments. Guys, I built it for entrepreneurs. I built it for sales professionals. I built it for business owners who want the inside edge to serve their clients even better. So what our system does is, as soon as someone cracks their code with your access code, you're going to get a notification. And you're going to get a notification. You're going to get an email straight from our company simultaneously with a report attached to your email as well. Now imagine what your report says. Your report is going to reveal, here's their name, their phone number, their email. Here's their B.A.N.K code. And here's the top tips of how to communicate, negotiate, and close the sale. Good luck on your appointment, and take it to the bank. Now, this is the Holy Grail of sales, okay? And what you're going to get access to on top of this is all of the data for every single person who cracks their code worldwide in real time, 24/7, in an online dashboard that we provide you. You'll be able to log in, and you can literally see every single one of your customers, your leads, your prospects, your clients, and what their B.A.N.K code is. As a matter of fact, you'll also be able to download this data and export it based on their bank codes. And how can you use this to win in business? Imagine building different marketing campaigns. If you're in the process of communicating, if you're sending out newsletters, or some of our top clients, what they're doing, this is the future of marketing. This is the ultimate way to like fortune tell, is imagine building a website landing page where someone comes to it and they crack their code. And then what our system does is we send them to different websites and landing pages where the video, the copy on the website, and all of the email autoresponder sequences like you see on the screen. Imagine a series of 7 emails, but per code. So the blueprints get their own website, their own campaign. The action gets theirs, the nurturing gets theirs, and the knowledge gets theirs. At the end of the day, you're trying to sell the same exact thing, except you're selling it 4 different ways, which is the point of bank code. If you really want to leverage the power of this training, this technology, you have the ultimate power tool right here in front of you using this exact service. And this is what's so exciting. So to kind of summarize, and then I want to make a special offer to you and show you what our top clients are doing and why you should be compelled to do this before your competition gets access to this training, right? You have an inside edge. You know, the question is, who does B.A.N.K work for? Who is it perfect for? And it kind of boils down to everyone. I mean, I built this originally in the direct sales channel, and I made it mandatory on my sales team. If you want me to be engaged in any part of the sales process to help you, if you want me to do a phone call with your prospective clients, if you want me to show up at a meeting, you have to tell me their bank code. That's rule number 1. And then it started to go into the financial industry because I was a financial advisor. And then it started to spread into the real estate industry and mortgage brokers, realtors, like I said, financial advisors. And then it spread into professionals. As I was speaking at different conferences, we had doctors, attorneys, chiropractors, acupuncturists, therapists, medicine. I mean, the stories that we're getting are unbelievable. From just this morning, I read an article from someone who learned B.A.N.K 4 years ago as an acupuncturist, and he's now writing an article on how it's completely changed his entire acupuncture client business by applying and implementing the B.A.N.K process with every patient. Things that just blow me away. Online and internet marketers, imagine being able to crack the code of every lead in every single one of your sales funnels by now using the digital version of B.A.N.K Pass. We have relationship experts that are using this in marriage counseling and marriage ministries, giving people dating advice before they even get married simply based on their B.A.N.K code. We have speakers and coaches. Matter of fact, if you're a speaker, a coach, a consultant, someone who loves to take the stage, we are looking for certified trainers that want to bring this message out into the marketplace. Make sure you get back to the person that invited you, because there's an extra additional fortune that you could earn by bringing this methodology out to the world. We also have education, schools, Montessori schools, universities using the B.A.N.K methodology, and we're at the beginning of really creating this global movement of bringing B.A.N.K into the collective marketplace. And of course, corporations. You know, we started off with small business owners, entrepreneurs, and sales professionals, and now it's starting to hit medium-sized companies and blue chip Fortune 1000 companies. It's an exciting time. And the whole concept is, don't get left behind. Don't let us train your competition before we train you. Getting invited to this webinar is a blessing. Make sure you thank the person that invited you. And my good friend Les Brown, you know, he really said it best when he said, B.A.N.K is a game changer. It is, right? He said it's a game changer for every entrepreneur and sales professional. This system will strengthen your confidence. Remember what I said at the beginning with Salesforce.com, where 87% don't feel confident or prepared at their appointment? We're going to give you the confidence by knowing exactly what to say, play by play, for every single customer you have. This system will expand your selling skills. It doesn't matter what sales training you've ever learned, and there's a lot of them out there. Tom Hopkins, Omar Perry, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, spin selling. There's so many different sales techniques that you could use, and B.A.N.K like a glove overlays on any one of them, making you 300% better. And of course, the net result at the end of the day, and the reason I built it for myself, was to dramatically increase my income. I wanted to close more sales. I was desperate for it. I didn't want to work that hard. Everybody's heard work smarter, not harder. My friend, this is the exact solution that you've been looking for and perhaps even praying for. This is why I'm passionate to invest my personal time to bring this message to you, to give you the inside edge, to give you the opportunity to close more sales, to serve more customers, to make a difference, and to build a legacy for you and your family. The odds are so heavily stacked against you for success. Most people want to crawl back into a hole and go get their job. But if you're the type that doesn't quit, that doesn't ever give up, that's looking for a better way, I can tell you it is here right now. So what I want to introduce you to and share, why are so many people participating? You know, why would these amazing people like Shelly, like Stephanie, like Robin, like Brett take advantage? You can see why they invest into our company's products and services, because it makes them better. They became members of Bank Code, and this is what I want to invite you to. There's no reason that your face should not be right here on my PowerPoint screen. Okay. Now, bank does not guarantee that you're going to be successful. You have to apply it. You have to learn it. You have to follow the system. But when you do, you can create extraordinary results. And that's what I'm excited about. So here's our solution. Remember, in today's webinar, I introduced you to the secret. Sales is not a numbers game. It is a people game. I introduced you to the science of people. The fact that there's 4 different types and they operate completely differently, like north, south, east, and west. I introduced you to the system, the bank system that will save you time, energy, and money when you apply it in every single sales process. And now I'm going to introduce you and close with our solution. This is for those of you that want to get better, that want to earn more in less time, starting right now. Your Bank Pass membership. What would it cost to be able to do this? Before I reveal the price, let me just compare it to other services that are out there. Although it's a little bit apples and oranges, and people always say, Sherry, who's your competition? And it's hard to kind of describe it, but let me attempt, okay? There's 2 types of quote unquote competitors. There's personality typing assessments out there. Let's talk about it. There's the DISC assessment, there's the color code, there's the Colby index, there's insights, management drives. I mean, there's literally dozens of them, okay? Typically, what does an assessment cost? Those models are charging per assessment, okay? Imagine per code cracked. DISC, for example, usually charges somewhere between $19 and $79 per assessment. Even if the consumer's taking it for free, the supplier who supplied that assessment is being billed for that, $19 to $79. Recently, an orthodontist I met was paying $50 for every Colby Index assessment that his people were taking in his orthodontics practice. Okay, so the range is typically going to be somewhere between $19 to $150 per assessment, depending on the assessment. The other thing that it costs is time. It's not just the money per assessment that you would be billed, it's the time that it takes the consumer to take the assessment. Most assessments are going to take somewhere between 40 and 60 minutes to complete. It's like a full-blown psychoanalysis. The challenge is I didn't want any of that. First of all, I didn't want anything psychology-based at all. What I was looking for was biology. Remember, spelled B-U-Y, ology, the science of buying behavior. I wanted an assessment that was reverse engineered, not based on me, but who the customer is and why they buy. So the best part about the bank assessment is you're able to deliver this assessment. It takes the customer less than 90 seconds to complete because time is money. And we built a revolutionary model in the way that we provide it, which is an unlimited assessment for a simple $129 per month. $129 a month, you get unlimited bank code assessments every single month. It is a month-to-month service. If you don't want it, cancel it. But our customers don't cancel because getting access to this data, and then we give you all of the information behind the data. How do you communicate? How do you negotiate? And how do you effectively close the sale with each and every personality type? We take it beyond business. How would you be a better parent, better in dating, better in marriage, better in friendship with each one of these codes? There's personal and professional application in this for a monthly fee of $129. Now there's a $99 activation fee, which it takes to turn the system on. And I've got something special for you today. A couple of very special offers when you take action, okay? First one is our tools and our training, our technology are absolutely priceless. But the training we built to go along with it, it's kind of like, you know, the two go together, peanut butter and chocolate, peanut butter and jelly, okay? Our training, we developed a series of training courses. You can see them kind of spread out here on your screen. Just an example, our core on our bank code VT, our virtual training platform, online virtually, just like right now in a virtual interactive setting. You can log in and I will teach you everything you need to know about the fundamentals of bank, understanding the blueprint, the action, the nurturing, and the knowledge, and how to sell to them. In our pro level course, we're going to teach you how to speed code. What if you're talking to someone on the phone and you have not yet cracked their code? What if you're Googling someone and you look at them on social media, their website, or their LinkedIn profile? I'm going to teach you how to deduce their code like Sherlock Holmes. We're going to crack the code, okay? That's a technique called speed coding. In our platinum package, we have additional advanced courses. One of our advanced courses is called Power Scripting. This is the Holy Grail and the crown jewel of selling, because I'm going to teach you exactly how to speak and write in all 4 codes, how to sell anything to anyone and maximize your influence so that once you know their code, the question becomes, how do you articulate your message in a compelling way in their language, like the example I did in French. That's in the platinum package. In addition, I wanted to create a few extra supplemental courses that I knew could help the average person. A sales course teaching you the entire sales process of how to actually take someone through that from A to Z. An additional course that's called COIN, which is Center of Influence Networking. So if you're in the business of actually going out and physically meeting people, going to chamber events, B&I meetings, networking socials, or anything like that, we're going to teach you an advanced strategy of how to network with the most influential people so that when you do business with them, you do business with their whole organization. Trust me, you'll make a lot more money that way than the onesie and twosie approach. And I created an additional course inside the platinum package that is called the Millionaire Map. Now the Millionaire MAP is an acronym, stands for Massive Action Plan. And this is for those of you that are overly ambitious. 6 figures is not enough. You want multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures. Remember, I told you, you should try it at least once in your lifetime. If you've never made $1 million, I reveal to you the entire Millionaire Map, a series of 12 different courses that when combined and applied will teach you how to fast track getting to your $1 million income. You apply bank on top of those steps and it's like nitro fuel blasting you to the fast track of success. So what is all of this worth? The package value for our virtual interactive training, bank code VT, is a value of $19,997. This is if we sold each one of these courses separately, which I have in the past, and that's where this value comes from. But here's the best part, and this is what shows our commitment to bringing this out into the market, okay? The gift that we're going to do is for each one of you that enrolls and subscribes in this program. Number one is we're going to waive the $99 activation fee. So when you sign up for the Bank Pass, the $129 a month, we're going to waive that activation fee today. And the person that invited you to this webinar has an access code that you will need to get that waives that $99 fee. Secondly, I'm going to do something that's just going to blow you out of the water. I always love to say, you better take your shoes off because I'm about to blow your socks off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, you're going to have to wait. I forgot I rearranged my slides, okay? Well, let me just go back. I'm going to say it right here on this slide right here. I'm going to include this entire $19,000 package, whoops, right here, virtual interactive package, the $19,000, everything in our training thing, we're going to include unlimited access when you enroll today, okay? So your $129 fee is going to get you all of our training, unlimited, every 30 days. Every month you're billed that $129. You get unlimited code cracks, unlimited assessments. You get all the data in your dashboard, and you get unlimited access to all of our training courses so that we can hold your hand through this process, and you can repeat, repeat, repeat until rich. $129, and as I said, your activation fee on top of that is going to be waived today. Now there's one last juicy piece, and I want to share this with you, and then we're going to end the webinar. The last piece that I want to share with you is we could not help but make this thing go viral, and our customers receive rave reviews. Yesterday, I got an email from a millennial, someone who's a university student, who said, I read your book. It was referred to me by my university friend, okay, a 19-year-old, that said, I have already read your book. I'm applying the bank process. It is already helping me make more money in my business. I'm still at the university, and it's already improved my relationships. I had another millennial who said, I've applied this in my university. I cracked the code of my professors, and I took my grade from an 84% to a 97% by just building that relationship better and stronger with, I mean, crazy the type of stuff. So what happened is the word of mouth just started to go viral. And I believe in opportunity. Robert Kiyosaki says most people get one, maybe two opportunities of a lifetime. So the opportunity is, if you want to participate in our affiliate program, our affiliate program is a $199 annual fee that sets you up where we can pay you commissions and you can earn while you learn. It's a simple 2-tier affiliate program, and you have the opportunity to go out and tell everyone else that you know. If you're in business, if you're in sales, if you're in networking or anything like that, and you want to share this with other people, here's the cool part. For $199, we're going to pay you 20% commissions on everything you refer. You get a 10% second-tier commission if you refer it to other people who decide to share it. And on top of that, we're going to reduce the monthly bank pass fee from $129 a month down to $99 per month. Unlimited access, all the codes you can crack, unlimited assessments, and unlimited training for $99 a month. That's a savings of $30 a month by simply being one of our amazing affiliates, okay? Think of it like an employee discount. It's an awesome opportunity, okay? So the choice is yours now to get started. If you're ready to get started, then simply join us today, select your package, get back with the person that invited you. You can enroll right on bankcode.com. Go to bankcode.com, scroll down where it says pricing. You can select the Bank Pass program and choose your option. $129 a month makes you a retail member. You're going to join and become a member of our community. Membership has its privileges. You get access to Facebook groups and all kinds of cool additional benefits for being a member. It's month to month. You can cancel it at any time, $129 a month. And if you choose to be an affiliate, you'll get the same exact product for $99 a month, saving you $30 a month. And you'll have the opportunity to go out there and share it with other people and get paid taking it to the bank. It's a $199 annual fee, one-time annual fee each and every year for the opportunity to go share it. Plus you save close to $400 a year just on savings alone, okay? So I want to go ahead and end this webinar. I want to thank you for being a part of it. You know, we're very, very excited here at Bank Code. There's some additional opportunities if you want to get back to the person that referred you. I'll just kind of put it out there. We are looking for leaders that want to help us bring Bank virally into different vertical markets, different regions and locations, both offline and online. So we're looking for someone that we would consider a super affiliate. We call them affectionately bankers. And there's some advanced leadership training that we put them through. We teach them how to sell, speak, train, and lead, which are incredible skill sets. They get paid a lot more income from our company beyond the affiliate program because of that leadership experience that they bring. So you